Hey guys, how's it going? I have a massive book haul to share with all of you today. I don't know what it was about August, but I got a lot of books. It doesn't help that I love going to like thrift shops and shopping on like Book Outlet. So I get a lot of books for like half the price or less. A couple of these are actually from July, but I figured I would go ahead and just kind of throw them in here with these since I didn't do a July book haul. The first ones that I'm going to be going over are the ones that I received in August's Owl Crate, and we got Sleepy Hollow and Other Short Stories by Washington Irving. The book for August's Owl Crate was The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. This book is about a young woman who ends up making a deal with a demon in this world. Demons exist and are not a rare occurrence. They are all over the place. The demon that she makes a deal with asks for her heart. There is a boy in the story as well who I believe has also made a deal with the same demon. The tagline on the front is, "Her heart is no longer hers to give." And so how is she going to give the boy that she wants to be in a relationship with her heart if she doesn't have one? It sounds really interesting, and I'll probably be getting to this in October. This sounds like a good October read. So I made a trip into Barnes & Noble this month and I picked up quite a few books. One of the books that I got at Barnes & Noble was Avenged by Amy Tintera. This is the second book. First one is Ruined, which is down here. I haven't read Ruined. I've heard it's really good, but I saw this one. It's the second book. It has recently come out, I believe. So I was like, I'm just gonna pick it up because I'm weak like that. And I have a book buying problem. The next book that I got from Barnes & Noble was Hunted by Megan Spooner. The tagline says, "Beauty deadlier than the beast." So obviously this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I did not really read much of the dust jacket, the front page here. It's really shiny and it caught my eye, and so I bought it because it's shiny. And yes, I totally judged it by its cover. It's shiny. One of the books that I was looking forward to getting was Because You Love to Hate Me. This is a collaboration where 13 YA authors and 13 booktubers got together, and the booktubers gave the authors some prompts for a story, and of course the authors then wrote a story based off of those prompts. I was really excited for this one. I have not gotten around to reading it yet. I was also able to find Every Heart a Doorway in hardback while I was there. They had the companion novel for this as well, which is Down Among the Sticks and Bones. Basically, it's about these kids who have gone to magical, fantastical worlds like the kids in Narnia or Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And when they come back from those places, when they come back from Narnia and back from Wonderland, and they're in the regular, average, everyday world. And I believe they're in kind of an orphanage, so it's kind of like a Peregrine's Home for peculiar kids sort of a situation where they're all just kind of housed together, these kids who have been to strange places, and just kind of what it's like for them having been back. Other than that, I don't know too much about it. It is super thin, but I hear it packs a pretty heavy punch. So I am excited to get to this one. Hopefully in September I might be able to squeak it in. I'm not sure, but I am excited to have been able to pick up a hardback copy of this. So the next few books that I got from Barnes & Noble, I didn't actually pick up in store. I ordered them offline because they were far cheaper. In store is just like ridiculous. And online has free shipping. So woo! When you live in Alaska, free shipping is incredibly important because people like to charge you extra for not being in the lower 48. Yeah, which is ridiculous. But anyway, I got Furthermore by Tahara Mafi. Am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying that right. Tahara Mafi. I heard it's really interesting. This is a middle grade book. It's about this kind of magical world, but it is got this super cool cover. I fell for the cover and I've heard good things. Everybody says that it's really interesting and great, so yeah, why not? Why not? So the next book that I picked up online from Barnes & Noble was Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't think I am. I have actually read this book before. I originally bought it in paperback because that's all I could find at the time. It's kind of a Beauty and the Beast sort of story. It was really interesting. Like I said, I've already read this. When I had it in paperback, I gave the paperback version to my friend, and I got myself the hardback copy, so yes. So the next couple books I got in a couple different places. I ordered And I Darken by Kristen White off of the Barnes & Noble website. And then I had some Target gift cards from doing back to school shopping for my kids. So I'd gotten enough gift cards to where I was able to go to Target and pick up the second book, Now I Rise. So I got the first and second book in this series. It's, from what I understand, it's about this girl, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler is also like Dracula and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much all I know about these, so yeah. I love shopping on Book Outlet. I get so many books from Book Outlet. Two of the books that I kept seeing on there were Winter's Crime and Winter's Kiss by Marie Rutowski. I don't think I'm saying that one right either. But of course, these are the second and third book in the series, and I can't read these until I've gotten the first one. So I went ahead and ordered the first one off of Barnes & Noble in a hardback. So before August, back in July, I had actually picked up Looking for Alaska by John Green. I have never read a John Green book. I ended up also finding The Fault in Our Stars. I found this one at a Value Village, so I only got it for like $1 or $2, which was sweet. From what I understand, he is a very popular author. I've never read any of his books. I now have 2 of his books, and hopefully I will get to one of these at some point. There's a lot of books on my TBR, like all the books that I bought went straight to my TBR, so it's like half my shelves. It's not a smart decision, but I just can't help it. A few other books that I found at the Value Village recently were Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, which is a story between these two younger kids, and that's really all I know about it. So yeah. I also stumbled across Wonder at Value Village. I cannot pronounce this author's name, so I'm not going to try, but it's about this boy who has a facial deformity, and he had been homeschooled, and then his parents decided to send him to kind of a regular school. I believe it also follows the perspective of his sister and what it's like for his sister. And then it also, I believe, goes into one of his friends' points of view and, you know, being at school and all of its difficulties. Not all the kids are nice. Some of the kids, you know, one of his friends is in it just to be his friend because she genuinely wants to. And I think one of them kind of ends up kind of betraying his trust and hurting his feelings. So it sounds really interesting from what I understand. They are going to be making a movie of this soon, so I figured while I saw it at Value Village, might as well pick it up so I can read it before the movie comes out. So a couple others that I found were Curtsies and Conspiracies and Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger? I'm really not sure what these are about. I saw them at the Value Village and I was like, these look pretty interesting. So, oh no, they looked interesting, so I picked them up. So if you've read these and you enjoyed them, or if you read them and you didn't enjoy them, shoot me a comment down below because I'd be really interested to know. The last book that I found at Value Village recently was Seeker by Arwen Ellis Dayton. Whew, a long name. It says, after tonight there is no going back. The truth will end them all. So it follows this main girl named Quinn, and she wants to be a seeker, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. And so she takes this oath, and then things go kind of awry, and there's this boy that she's in love with, and that's really all I know. The cover looked interesting. I should probably stop judging books by their cover, because I keep buying a bunch of books and I'm gonna end up not liking these. I haven't really heard much about it. A friend of mine, there was 2 copies of them there, and so both me and a friend of mine picked these up. So I know there's more than one in this series. I think it's like a trilogy or something, so if I like it, that'll be interesting. I might get the other books. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get around to reading it, but yeah. So if you've read this, again, shoot me a comment down below. When I was in Anchorage at the Barnes & Noble, I stopped by one of my other favorite thrift bookshops, Tidal Wave, and so I picked up a few books. I picked up 3 from the same series. This is Falling Kingdoms. This is the first second and third book, they actually had like they had 4 of the books, and then they had one of the kind of offshoot storybooks as well, because I believe there's this series and then there's also kind of like a secondary like sideline series. It sounded interesting. I've been wanting to get a hold of these for a while, so when I saw that they had a whole bunch of them, I went ahead and just grabbed the first 3. From what I understand, it's like Game of Thrones for YA. That's all anybody says. Game of Thrones for YA. So, of course, sounds interesting. I watched the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I am now behind, which, let me tell you, really was not that great for this latest season of Game of Thrones, because there were spoilers everywhere. Like, this had to have been the worst season for spoilers ever. But, yeah, so I did watch the first 4 seasons, though, and I really liked it, and I would like to catch up on it. But until then, maybe read this, because it's like Game of Thrones, but for YA. So, some of the other books that I found this month, I ended up finding all 3 of To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I believe they are making this into a movie. I found the first one at Value Village. I found the second one at Barnes & Noble, and I found the third one at Target. All in hardback, because I have a thing for hardback. It is about this girl who I think is still in high school in the first one, at least. And throughout the years, she's had crushes on several guys, like 5 guys. And so she's written a letter to each one of these guys that she has had this major crush on. And in these letters, she kind of just pours her heart out, and then she puts them away in like a shoebox or something. And somehow, in some way, they end up getting mailed and sent out to the boys that she wrote them to. It sounds really interesting. It sounds kind of fun and quirky. Of course, the boys end up going and like confronting her and talking to her like, you wrote this letter to me. So it's all the ensuing kind of chaos and repercussions from that. And then I do believe that they are making these into a movie. So I'm hoping to get them read before the movie comes out. So the last book that I got in August was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I think I said that right. I found this one at Target and I was like, ooh, I want to read that. So I picked it up. Okay. All the books that I'm going to go over now are books that I bought from Book Outlet, and they either just kind of popped out at me while I was scrolling through the many books that they have on there, or I actually like read a summary of them and thought, ooh, that sounds good. I found Ice Like Fire and Frost Like Night on Book Outlet, and I ordered the first one, Snow Like Ashes, off of Barnes & Noble, which has not gotten here yet. A lot of people complain about Book Outlet's books. There is a scratch and dent section where the books are pretty banged up. This is one that I got from Book Outlet. This was probably the most damaged one that I have received. There was a slice along here, like when somebody was going to open a box, they sliced and it cut the cover. That's really the most damage I've ever had on any one of the books. There's been a couple others where they just have a tiny little slice or nick in them. But other than that, most of the books that I've received from Book Outlet have been in pretty good condition. Even the ones labeled as scratch and dent. So neither one of these were scratch and dent, but if you notice the cover here, it is kind of dented, but really it's not that bad. I've gotten worse books from Value Village. I've gotten better books from Value Village. It's just kind of hit or miss, but they are cheaper. So if you want to find some books that are a little bit cheaper, Book Outlet is a pretty good place to go. So I got a lot of books from Book Outlet, so I'm probably not going to go over too many of them all that much. One of the ones I got was Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. I don't know too much about this one. I just thought it looked interesting. I think Owl Crate had it in one of their previous boxes a few months back, so I figure, Next is Becoming Jinn by Lori Goldstein. It's about a girl who becomes a genie after her 16th birthday. And that's all I know. I got Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. This is the first book. There is the second book out, and I believe there's going to be a third one as well. It's got this really cool cover on it. The back looks like a playing card, and there's a lot of really fun kind of little touches in it. You got a little smile down here that looks like a Cheshire cat. You've got the flamingos kind of touches to stuff that you see in like the cartoon Alice in Wonderland. This does not have to do with Alice. This has to do with the queen and kind of everything before Alice, before she's actually become the queen, when she's like younger. Another book that I picked up on Book Outlet is by the same author that did The Hearts We Sold in August's Owl Crate, and that was Elusive by Emily Lloyd Jones. Emily Lloyd Jones. Elusive is about a girl who can alter people's perception. I think she's able to glamour herself to look like other people. I'm not sure if she can also kind of glamour the world around her and alter people's perception that much, or if it's just her own facial features that she can do. But she falls in with a bad crowd and some thieves, and so she's on the run. I read the synopsis for it on Book Outlet, and that was like a month ago, so but it looked interesting. And then I got the Owl Crate, and it's a book by the same author, so I can't wait to read one of her books. They both sound super, super cool. Got Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. It's about a girl who ends up becoming a, what's the word? A paladin. She becomes a paladin, and then she has to protect this boy. This is a trilogy. This is the first book in the trilogy. Book Outlet had the other two books on there in hardback, but I decided not to get them until I had read this one. I was good this time, and I didn't just buy the whole trilogy and find out I don't like it later on. I just bought the first book. I was good. I was good for once. The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins. This is a duology. The next one is called The Great Pursuit, I believe. This, again, is kind of like a Beauty and the Beast sort of story from what I understand, to where there's a monster or something, a beast, and the king offers up his daughter's hand in marriage to anybody who can kill the beast. It reminded me actually of the Disney movie Brave, where the main girl doesn't want to get married. Like, the reward is her hand in marriage, and she's not cool with that. So I think she goes off to hunt the beast herself, and she partners up with one of the guys that's hunting it. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little while since I've read the synopsis, and I ordered it off a Book Outlet, and it takes them like a few weeks to get to me, so, but yeah, that's all I really remember about this one. So the next one that I got, I actually found the first one at the local used bookstore Tidal Wave, and then I got the second one off of Book Outlet. I kept seeing them on Book Outlet, and I was like, eh. And then I saw it locally, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. But it was Born of Illusion and Born of Deception. The Born of Illusion cover I like a lot because it's kind of matte, like, but the Born of Deception is like, it's that glossy, shiny kind of cover, which not a fan of. I hate it when they're different, when the covers are different. I would have liked them both to be matte. So I just got a Book Outlet box today. I know it's September, but I'm including it with this August book haul because I'm doing the book haul today and I got the box today, so why not? So I've already opened up the box and I got a few books in it. I got, where'd it go? I have this habit that the minute I get the box, I unload the books and file them into my shelves. Okay, one of the books that I got was Unhooked by Lisa Maxwell. This book is, it's kind of based off of, well, obviously, like, it's kind of based off of Peter Pan and stuff like that, but it follows this girl and her friend that get kidnapped and taken to Neverland. And this is not like the regular Neverland that we're used to. This is like the dark and sinister Neverland. I recently started watching Once on Netflix, and there's a Peter Pan character in that show in like the later seasons and stuff, and his Neverland is kind of like dark and sinister, so it kind of caught my attention when I saw this one, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick it up. I don't know too much about it. It looks interesting. I've never really read like a Peter Pan Neverland sort of retelling, so I figured this would probably be a good one to start with. One of the books that I got in August through Book Outlet was Like a River Glorious, and I had previously gotten Walk on Earth a Stranger, which is the first book, and I'm not too sure what this one is about because I haven't read this one yet. This girl can sense gold, and this is during like the California Gold Rush era. So of course, a girl who can sense gold is pretty valuable. She's definitely a rare commodity. So she decides to go to California to the gold rush to, I think, be able to like help her family out and stuff like that. And it's just kind of her journey from wherever it is she lives to California. I think in the second book she's reached California by this point. Definitely an interesting concept. The last two books that I'm going to show you are Crimson Bound and Bright Smoke, Cold Fire, both by Rosamund Hodge. I'm horrible at names, I'm horrible. I got both of these through Book Outlet. Cruel Beauty I've read before, I believe. Crimson Bound is kind of not really a sequel, more of a companion novel, because Cruel Beauty follows like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, whereas Crimson Bound, I believe, follows a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. So this should be interesting. I really enjoyed Cruel Beauty, so I figure I'll go ahead and check out some of the other books by this author since they were for cheap on Book Outlet. Okay, so that was it for my August book haul. That is all I'm going to go into. There was probably one or two that I forgot to mention simply because I got so many books this month. I tend to forget which ones I bought when, but yeah, so that was quite a few, so I think that's enough to go over. Hopefully September, I'd like to say that I won't have as huge of a book haul, but let's face it, there's a whole ton of new releases coming out and I've already bought a book this month, so hopefully not as big, but I give no promises. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more videos with me and my books, please be sure to like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you tune in next time. Bye!